Many thanks for staying with BizCheck here on KBC Channel 1. My name is Betty Kiptum. Now, in the second hour of this particular program, we shall be having a conversation on matters agriculture and how to ensure that the young people are being integrated into the agriculture ecosystem. To have this conversation is Dr. Beatrice Muganda. She is the director at the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research. I got that right?
Yes.
Karibu sana, and thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Karibu. Could you just give us some statistics of how the agriculture sector is looking in terms of the youth, maybe?
So, starting at the African level, we have 37% youth population. And of this, 60% are unemployed. And then when you come down to Kenya, we have about 47.6 million Kenyans, of which about 30 million are youth. The unemployment rate in Kenya right now is about 9.3%. Yes. And of this, 18.3% are unemployed. So to think that from our research, we can leverage about 3.2 million jobs from the mango and another 3.2 million jobs from the potato sectors. It's really amazing to think that such opportunities are not being adequately exploited. Yes.
Those are quite some interesting numbers, considering the unemployment and the potential that these sectors have to employ these people. Where is the gap?
So the gap really, there are many gaps. So first of all, we think about the perception, the poor attitude towards agriculture. Youth are not
the farmer to make their venture profitable and attractive eventually to the young people.
First of all, support research. Research into better seeds, because value addition has to be informed by research. And then strengthen the extension services. And that is the linkage between the researcher and the extension officers who will then take this information to the farmer. So there has been a disconnect there, and we need to strengthen this area. So with this kind of intervention, and if it is we have policies, but it's one thing to have those policies, it's another thing to have them implemented. And also in these policies, there are gaps, because when the policies were being set, for example, we were not really deeply embedded in the digital era right now. Right now, there are many opportunities for digitization. So these have to be strengthened, and also mechanisms of just how we really support the youth to then exploit these opportunities. And then there's the process of certifying seeds. The issue about, marketing of our potato because of the certification. So the process is lengthy, and many of the youth do not even have the information. So again, how can we support youth to access information on these policies, and even support them to find ways and means of working in a manner that's consistent with the policy expectation? Yes.
Right. For the young people, my previous guest was saying that land ownership is mostly, the titling is held by the parents.
Yes.
The young people are still struggling to, find their footing.
Yes.
So the land tenure system in this country.
Yes.
There's the land ownership, there's the small pieces of land that probably do not support the large scale kind of farming.
Yes.
How can we sort out this mess? Because land issues in this country are quite a mess.
Yes, that's a big one. Systemic problems can be difficult to address, but then they also present opportunities. Opportunities, for example, for collaboration. If youth come together and form cooperatives, they can source land and undertake agriculture on that piece of land. It's also got something to do with access to credit. They can lease the land, and it will help them with the farming.
It will help them with the farming, of course. So for young people, coming together, as you've mentioned, is a very important thing.
Yes.
Is there anything specific that is being done to ensure that these resources, because the youth have resources, they have the skills, some of them have the income and others don't. So when they come together, they pull all these resources together.
Yes.
Is there something that is being done to make sure that young people are coming together, maybe forming even cooperatives and venturing into agriculture?
Yes.
There are some platforms, maybe apps or websites that have come up, to support this sector. What more can be done?
So again, there's the training. It's a necessary input because they need the skills to work actively in this tech world. They need also to be linked to some of these farms that are developing these apps like the iHub. And so that disconnect has to be addressed. But increasingly, of course, youth are getting involved, but we need to share more information and we need to link them more to these trainings and the job opportunities. Yeah.
Well, we are talking about the agriculture value chain, how to make sure that the young people are investing or involving themselves in agriculture across the value chain. And we are having this conversation with Dr. Beatrice Muganda. She's the director in charge of the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research. Remember, you can get in touch with us on KBC at KBC Channel 1 on Twitter. At Betty Kiptum is my Twitter handle. Tell us, what is your experience? Have you ventured into agriculture as a young person? What is stopping you from venturing into it if you haven't? And if you have, what has your experience been? Did you make money? Did you lose money? How did it go for you? And maybe what questions would you have for Dr. Muganda? Daktari, let's talk about the access to credit. For young people, they'll go maybe to the bank needs collateral.
Yes.
They don't have collateral. All they have is themselves and the skills that they have.
Yes.
So for young people, where can they go to access credit that will support them in venturing into agriculture?
We've come up with some innovative solutions like the table banking, whereby they need very low investments, and from what they're collecting every week, they can put some money together. And eventually, this money will grow and it can access them credit. But also collateral in terms of youth coming together and supporting each other. For example, in a cooperative society, you just need to sign off as a guarantor and you can access funds. So let them start small and then build the kind of reserves that will enable them to access big credit from the bank. Yes. Most of the farms in this country are in the rural areas, of course. You know? Yes.
So it means the county governments have a great role to play when it comes to adding value to the agriculture value chain.
Yes.
So what is that role that they need to play?
County governments have established their ministries of agriculture, and mostly they are providing farm inputs. So for the value chain to grow and to be strengthened, they must provide goods of certain quality. I'm not saying that the inputs are not of high quality, but they must check that they're getting the products of the highest quality, the inputs of the highest quality to provide to the farmers. So that would be the beginning point. And of course also helping them to access the markets. So that time is not lost. And crops destroyed, for example, the post-harvest losses have to be arrested at the right time. And here also the county government can play a role. Yes.
How about on training?
If it's like something like milk, where these products can be at least kept to avoid post-market loss before they are then shipped to the market. Yes.
When you mentioned about research,
yes,
I remembered that the other day there was there's an online war, with the fast food chain, KFC, over their potato varieties and how they have to import.
Yes.
Yet there are farmers in Kenya who are throwing away potatoes because they don't have the market. And what can you say can be done to make sure that we have the right varieties for the market that is there?
So there's research going on by, cultural universities like Egerton, but when this technology comes out, how it's used to produce the kind of quality of seed potatoes that we need, there is a problem in terms of volume. Like I said, only 5% of the seeds of the right quality required are available. So there's capacity to utilize this technology to produce more seed potatoes to serve the market. So it is an area for intervention by the private sector as well. And that's why for PASGR, we have brought together a variety of stakeholders. And one of the things that we'll be doing is exploring opportunities for multi-stakeholder partnerships and discussing effective business models. And so this is one area that can also be addressed. How can the private sector come in to use this technology that is produced by research organizations, by universities, to serve the market needs?
The Kenyan agriculture products.
Yes.
Some have been flagged for not meeting the international standards, when it comes to accessing the export market.
Yes.
So we have been banned. I think our avocados were banned some time ago from being exported because we did not meet that particular standard that had been set. So what will go into ensuring that we are producing quality, not just for the local market, but also for the international market where there is the big money?
Standards have been laid down, and obviously to follow these standards requires some heavy investment that may not be available, especially for the youth and for the smallholder farmers. So the big question is, while we have these standards, how can we then get partnerships, stakeholders, interventions, especially from the private sector, coming in to support the youth to meet these standards? Because once those standards are met, then there will not be a problem of accessing the market. Yeah.
Right. And there's the issue of when you're adding value to these products.
Yes.
Ensuring that the end product is competitive in the market is another thing.
Yes.
So that means the input costs, the production costs, and that is a song that manufacturers have been singing, for quite some time, that the production cost in this country is too high, such that goods that have been imported are cheaper than goods produced locally.
Yes.
What does the government need to do to make our goods more competitive, both locally and internationally?
They should consider subsidies. And of course, the issue of taxation is usually very sensitive. But that's one area. I mean, if you think about the cost of fuel and how much tax is levied.
A little bit, stay with us. Thank you for watching BizCheck this morning. We have been having a conversation on matters agriculture and the young people. And Dr. Beatrice Muganda, the Director of Partnership for African Social and Governance Research, is here with us in studio. Dr. Muganda, could you just take us through what industries that the young people can look at in terms of providing value, the skills they can offer in agriculture?
Yes, again, just as background, if you look at the research that we undertook, we get this expert knowledge to add value into what we are selling.
Okay, we shall be answering that question in a bit. Allow me to cut you short. In studio, we are with Dr. Beatrice Muganda, the Director of the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research, and we are talking about matters agriculture and youth. And of course, we were talking a little bit earlier about the training part of it and how important institutions such as the TVET institutions, you know, are important in this sector, right?
Yes.
Before we went there, we were talking about the branding branding of Kenyan products to make sure that they catch the eye of the buyer, you know, and that they are competitive out there. Please go on.
Yes, thank you. And I had indicated that part of the work we are doing at PASGR with partners, and specifically in this conference, is to leverage on partnerships with private sector, because communication is big business in the private sector. And yes, we do have very that can come out. We have amazing graphic designers who can really add value to the work that is being done in the agricultural sector, in the mango and potato value chains. However, in terms of branding outside of Kenya, how many of our products really have hit the international market? Tea is doing very well because it's well branded. So I think it's a process. It begins with getting the product certified for the export market, and then after that, working very closely with the Kenya Export Production and Branding Agency to get the message out there. So for example, if you brand ugali very well and advertise it on international media, I don't know how that would leverage. Research is wide. It cuts across all the sectors. So in partnership, for example, in this research, we partnered with KBC and undertook research in youth employment creation, in agribusiness and agro-processing in Kenya. And so the findings that are coming out of this will inform interventions that improve the outcomes from the agricultural sector. For example, through the engagement where we've brought together a variety of interest groups, youth, private sector and public sector to engage. Coming out of this, we will have formed or at least catalyzed multi-stakeholder partnerships that take these discussions to the next level and form the kind of partnerships we require to access credit, for example, or to access the right technology, or to just improve productivity in agriculture. Coming out of this also, we will have greater interlinkages between the value chains. And this is what is needed again to improve income into this sector. And then, most importantly, like I said, we produce evidence and share with policy actors and other stakeholders to inform policy. Again, the discussions that are going on in the conference, again, they are going to provide inputs for reviewing, revising, and strengthening regulatory and policy frameworks in the agriculture and agribusiness industry. Yes.
Right. Well, thank you very much. I'll give you 30 seconds to give us your closing remarks.
Thank you very much. It has really been a good opportunity coming to talk about an issue that is very close to our hearts, because agriculture feeds us. So my message to the youth is there's great opportunity in agriculture. 3.2 million jobs in mango alone, 3.2 million jobs in potato alone. Please start today thinking about an idea that you can develop in the agriculture industry. Let us work together to lift this country, but also to lift you as an individual. This opportunity is great.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
I have been speaking with Dr. Beatrice Muganda. She is the Director of the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research. We have talked at length on matters agriculture and the young people. And her message is, do not be afraid. Just come up with an idea and start implementing it. The market is ready for you. Thank you very much for watching BizCheck. My name is Betty Kiptum. Khalid Abdullahi is up next with the latest in Kurunzi. Well, do have yourself a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.